I got into art when I moved to the US. After I moved to Toledo, where I live, I wasn't able to work because I'm still waiting for my immigration papers, my green card. So during that time, I was exploring with different mediums. I was doing dream catchers, I was sewing, I was painting, and I took a class, ceramic class. But it was not. It was after 2 years after I took the class that I was giving a little kiln. So for my creative process, it depends if I'm working in specific projects. So most of the times, like I have this series of sculptures inspired by women from my community in Peru. What I do is I had experiences with some of them. I grew up with some of them, like my grandmas, my aunts, my mom. If they are alive, I talk to them, and even though I grew up with them, I still don't know all their story. So I ask them about their practice, if they feel connected to a specific animal, or if I have experiences with them with the animals, and how they use the plants. And after that, I start sketching what I'm gonna do. If it's the women, I also start writing their stories. And while in that process, the ideas just come and see, okay, let's how I'm gonna, what are the elements are gonna be of the sculpture, or what is the story gonna focus on, what animals is gonna take, what animal is gonna be in the sculpture that represent the energy of the women that I was inspired by. I started doing art as a way to deal with my mental health struggle, because I think for some time I wasn't able to work. For years I wasn't able to work, and that kind of made me feel useless, because I left my home when I was 11, and since then I was just working all the time. And here, while I was waiting my green card, I was not able to do that. So it was very hard for me. So I started doing art as a way to practice mindfulness, and because all the things that I try to do are connected, or are are inspired by nature. I also spend a lot of time in nature, so I think that both of them, in a way, are helping me to deal with my with depression, or just when I'm feeling sad or I feel like I miss home. Um, it helps me in that way. I think that pain helps my creative process, because I noticed that I have more ideas, and it also, when I'm feeling that way, I go to my studio and try to practice mindfulness while I'm creating something. Also, the project that I was working for, like that I am working currently in this and the sculptures inspired by women from my community. Most of them have been through emotional and physical abuse, and in a way that took me back to when I was going through that when I was a child. I knew that was hard. It was hard going there, because I thought I went to therapy. I thought that I know that our traumas stay with us, but I didn't know that it would still affect me in a way, because there were sometimes I just couldn't do anything because I was just crying all the time. It was just very hard for me to be in that to do something. But then as I was moving forward with the project, it became liberating. One particular piece that was created during emotional distress was the one inspired by my mom, because I didn't, at some point in my life, I kind of built a resentment towards her, but understanding her story, it really made me realize that how strong and resilient she is, and all the things that she's been through, like so much pain, and still was able to do what was best for me, or for her, and and also just not. I think it's being hard for me to find balance. I know that when I try to, because I love what I do, I just try to work and be doing things all the time, but I just, when my body, I know when my body needs rest, so I try to um, just not spend time in the studio and go to the forest, or even when I'm busy and I still need time to rest. So what I do is I have other things that really help me connect and feel center, like maybe working in the garden, or just going to the park and exploring the forest. I like to go looking for mushrooms or insects or animals that I can see, and that makes me feel rested. A lot of my work was created during the pandemic because it was those times where I was just very depressed, just being able to see my friends or go out or like be social. I think in a way that I like to be alone, but at the same time I like to be with people. Like I like to connect with people, and that part for me was hard. And even like when I was working in the studio during pandemic, I was sharing a studio with other artists. It was just trying to manage, trying to be careful, so we take care of each other in that way. But also it was good because I wouldn't say good for the pandemic, but it made me realize how powerful community is. During the pandemic, I was sewing masks. I was giving masks here in Toledo. I was donating them to teachers or nurses, and then with the money, I bought some medication or food for my community in Peru because they weren't able to to access to some things, so it was hard for them. Yeah, I think it kind of affected in a way that maybe not everything was accessible, or like I wasn't able to do the things that I wanted to do. But in another way, it also helped me understand better what community is and what it means. I am very excited about our exhibition of Las Curiosas. Las Curiosas is a series of sculptures of women from my community in Peru that heal people using plants, or have this connection with nature and the spirit. And some of these women are called witches, and that's why they are called Las Curiosas. So I'm excited for that exhibition. The opening reception will be September 29 at the Toledo Museum of Art. And it relates a lot with my artistic vision and mission, because I am a land-based artist. I am inspired by women, femininity, and biodiversity.